Okay, I started the recording. I just wanted to say that music was so nice. We can't share the music on YouTube or anything like that right now, but we just got done listening to Yoda's theme, and it was so sweet and beautiful. And I really like the contrast between that music that we just listened to and Yoda as a damage dealer in this game. Like listening to that beautiful flute solo made me think about when he drops his special that kills the enemy and takes all their turn meter all at once or steals all their buffs. Yoda is just sweet, isn't he? Anyway, that was a really nice intro to the round table. I wanted to say welcome one and all to the Boba's Alliance round table chat. Tonight we're looking at an interesting setting because we decided to erect the round table here on the deck of a Star Destroyer, right on the bridge, like where the bounty hunters were walking in that scene from Empire. And so we put out all of the sumptuous treats we could come up with for our Thanksgiving feast, and we set the table on the bridge of the Star Destroyer. So if anybody wants to come and join and share in this feast, please do. So far, we got 3 people who are sitting at the table, and those people are Draven to my left, me, Beef Martine, and Queen Avi. Avi Nash is on the right. So we got 3 people at the table for all this wine and etc., but we're going to do our best to tear it up. And the idea of the round table chat is that we have a feather. You could even say it's a magic feather. But anyway, maybe you don't believe in magic, but if you believe in the Force, maybe it's a Force feather. Anyway, I'm just trying to be imaginative, but whatever kind of feather this is, maybe when you get a chance to look at it closer, you can describe for us what the feather is and make up something in your own imagination, because that's the way the round table chat works. We're just going to pass the feather around the table. Whoever's holding the feather gets to talk and take us on a journey of imagination straight from your mind to our ears. So with that in mind, I'll just pass the feather for introductory circle to Draven, who's actually first in the circle, but anyway, doesn't matter. There's only 3 of us, so Draven, you're up.
We're on the Imperial ship. I'm part of the scum. I'm definitely one of the bounty hunters. What about you, Queen?
I'm sorry, what was that? I apologize. I got distracted by my husband telling me the mail just came. So
He was asking, we noticed that hardly anybody made it through Imperial security to join us for this round table on the deck of the Star Destroyer. And Draven said he got in because he's known as a bounty hunter. And
oh, gotcha.
So he wanted to know, what are you doing here? Who did you get in? Who did you bribe?
I laud over everyone. That's that was my key. I get to pretty much go wherever I want. That helps
good.
when you basically, kind of help run the alliance. So
yeah,
I'm not going to say I do run the alliance because there's a lot of people that help me out. So
well, thanks for renting the Star Destroyer. That sure was nice of you. Oh, look, a fourth person has appeared at the round table. So when Queen Avi is done with her turn at the feather, she's going to pass the feather to Howler. So Howler, prepare to unmute when Queen Avi stops talking.
Oh, me? I've stopped talking. So Howler, did you want to say something to say hi and? Or you just
he just came in, so he may not know what to do on the first time around. Okay, I'm gonna make a new list while we figure it out. Okay.
Okay.
To Draven, the new list is 1 Beefed, 2 Draven, 3 Avi, 4 Howler, and I guess it goes back to me 1, and I wanted to propose a question to the room about territory war strategy, and especially with regards to 3v3. Um, I really wish that they would do a 3v3 territory war or another cool territory war with a flavor like the one where Han Solo, all the Hans were really awesome, or the other Mace Windu had 1,000 times damage one time. Anyway, it would be cool to do another neat territory war, but I'm going to ask the same question I asked last week, and everybody kind of said no, but hopefully somebody will have something for me this time. What did you learn in 3v3 Grand Arena that you can translate and take from 3v3 to make territory war better? But anyway, that's how the roundtable chat works. Anybody who's holding the feather has a chance to propose a question to the whole room, to answer a question that's been asked, or just to offer some other commentary on life. If all you got to say is sup, that's fine too. We're prepared for that. But the next person who will talk after Beef every time is Draven. So I'll pass the feather with my question to Draven.
All right, I'm going to kind of twist that thing around. What I kind of wish they would do was not keep the zones, like the fleet zones, exactly where they are every time. Move them randomly. That way, defense changes. If our fleet zones are always in the same spot, if your guild does not focus heavy on ships and then just puts stuff in front of it to block it, it kind of not meet a surprise. What do you think about that?
After Draven, it
I
goes
think
to
that's a
Avi.
great idea, actually. I think that's a great idea to kind of shift things around a little bit. Maybe put ships up front or down at the bottom or up front bottom. That would definitely make it a little bit more interesting. I like that. I like that. Instead of the same old spot, you just know exactly where the ships are. So you always know to go to the bottom front to try to open up that back tune zone. And then you start working on the front or the back, dependent upon, what's harder or what's easier or what you have. And then just, there's the ships. We'll just go ahead and take care of that. So
After Avi, the feather passes to Howler. Looks like you're
how no.
unmuted. Can you talk now? We don't see a green circle blinking around Howler. Keep trying to get.
Sorry, I have mine set on push to talk, so that way I'm not talking over anybody on accident.
Okay, well, it's your turn to talk now.
Oh crap! What are we talking about?
I asked if you learned anything from 3v3 that you can use in the upcoming territory war, and Draven said, what would it be like if we had a different kind of territory war? And Avi said, yeah, what if you could have ships in a different zone? That'd be cool. So that's the type of conversation.
I think it would be cool if they mixed 5v5 with 3v3 and rotating ships around. Like you have 3v3 zones and then you have 5v5 zones. It would really break up the monotony of the constant, where everything's going to be at. Plus, it would force people to be more tactical with their squads.
True, because 3v3 can be much tougher than 5v5.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, very true.
Brilliant comment. I'd also love to see some 6v6 like they have PvE. They've already got it all coded where you can have 2 leaders. And both 2 leader properties are active on 6 teams. And so they have that ready, but they just have never given it to us in PvP. And I think they should. I mean, that would make it more interesting to me.
Yeah, that too, especially since you've got squads that have 6 people like Phoenix and Rogue One. I mean, most people don't even have those squads ready. So if you have those squads jacked up and ready to go, they could be a force to be reckoned with at this point.
Good material. Well, okay. I proposed a question about 3v3 informing territory war, but what I wanted to get at is how come nobody seems to have very good territory war strategy? When I look at the alliance channels that describe like what other guilds are using against us, nobody's posting our own defensive strategy because that would be ridiculous. But when I look at the charts of what enemies are doing against us, It seems pretty bland to me. Like all they've really got is sort of a different name or faction on each section. The good ones have that, but I don't really see a deeper underlying strategy to a lot of enemy guilds stuff. How come nobody has any good TW strategy? Is it because we're the biggest alliance? We're the only people who have the capacity to actually work out strategy and affect 40 plus guilds with the information we gain, or is it because
I
TW
think
is
that
always
we're
left to one
unique.
person?
I think that we're unique, and I apologize for interrupting because Draven's next. Oh, is that with such a big guild, a big, oh, I should say, a big alliance, that I don't think anybody does it the way that we do it. But I will pass the feather on to Draven first before I start talking more because I can start going if
You're right, but
I don't.
sometimes the question's good enough you have to interrupt a little, and that's fine. Go ahead,
I
Draven.
agree with her. A lot of guilds don't have all these other guilds to test strategies out. We know kind of what works, what doesn't work, and what combination works. So some of these guilds find one format and is too afraid to test out another format and see if it works. So they're kind of stuck in a holding pattern, and they just repeat. And they may see that they might not have enough galactic legends, so let's do it this way. But there's only just so many versions they're willing to try and test out.
Yeah,
However, I guess it would be you next. The Queen went.
I went, so
Okay, I didn't
Howard.
realize what the order. Okay, so I'm after Driver. So, and with that too, a lot of people, the younger guilds are pushing for their Galactic Legends, and they're not built up on a lot of their actual squads yet. They went for Galactic Legends so that way they can be a force to be reckoned with in arena. Because I've seen a lot of people popping up in my arena that have, I'm twice their GP level, but they're trying to break top 50 right now. But when you look at their actual roster, they don't have anything. So that could be another reason people are just pushing for these new legends and they don't have actual squads, so they're limited on what they can do with TW now.
that's a really good point too. Let's see. Do we go around the table? Avi, do you want to say more on that?
I'm good for now. I'm good for now. Let's go on
I
for the
mean, I would add
next
that
question.
it's a different type of roster development. A roster or a character inventory that's really good in Territory War is actually quite a bit different looking than a roster that's built solely for a sleek arena team and nothing else. But part of the problem with Galactic Legends, I think, is that you got to add so much fat at the top end of your inventory that being forced to relic a character that's virtually worthless in Territory War. Um, you know, y'all got to get creative with those guys that you were forced to relic to get your GL, because otherwise it's hard um, to carry a decent amount of weight in Territory War if you only have one good squad out there. But anyway, that's just me judging it. I feel like, yeah, that the enemies we're coming against, they seem to have labeled the sections on the map, and that's kind of it. I don't see a deeper strategy on most of our enemies about what is supposed to be what. Although I am seeing some traps where they'll put a weaker section, say in the north, in the front, and then all their Galactic Legends are right behind that. Uh, the thing is, that's common enough now that a lot of times our officers can tell, like, oh yeah, look, it's an obvious trap. They've got Darth Revan to the north and they got bounty hunters to the south, so they obviously want us to go south. Um, so anyway, on attack strategy, I am seeing good attack strategy by a lot of enemy guilds. On defense strategy, it seems like a lot of enemy guilds are lacking. Maybe they just don't have exposure to enough teams and enough guilds, or like Draven was saying, afraid to experiment. Well, okay, I answered my own question, and let me pass the feather on to Draven. Maybe you got a question for the room, and I see we've added a fifth caller, which is Leroy Jackal. You'll speak after Howler. Okay, Draven is
Well,
next.
the other major thing that's going on right now is GAC. How's everyone doing right now?
great question. Do you want to answer first or pass it to Queen Avi?
Right now, I've been lucky, and I have not haven't. I probably wouldn't jinx myself, but I haven't lost a single one so far.
Wow. Okay, so now the feather
I'm
passes to
6-0
Queen
right
Avi.
now.
I mean,
Okay. Now is that Galactic Challenges or Galactic Challenges or GAC?
GAC, GAC.
GAC. Okay. Um I'm doing pretty well. I just kind of range anywhere between 1 and 5. There's just times where I'll concentrate on one account and do GAC, and then there's times to where it's like I'm just way too busy, so I'll just set a defense and just let it ride. But I've been trying to get in there more often and practice with teams because I really, really, really need to do that because I've just been so burned out. And PvP is just not my favorite thing in the world. I can't stand PvP. And I think that's used to be because I was so into PvP in other games for so many years that I just frankly got burned out on it. So, but for me, sometimes I just let it go, automatic defense, let it ride, and sometimes I get first place. So overall, so I'll just still get all the goody rewards on that.
after you, it passes to Howler.
Yeah, Howler, how about you?
Well, I get paired with a lot of Maw lately, so whenever I see somebody else in there, I'm like, ooh, maybe I got a chance. Like this past one, I placed 6th place overall, but I'm not a big fan of 3v3. It does really force you to think a lot harder on what you should do. Now, I don't go heavy on defense with my Galactic Legends because, well, 3v3 sucks to the point that you really do. You need Kylo in order to beat Emperor the Sith Eternal Emperor. There's just no way around it. It's either that or you need Rey. But I don't know. I mean, I thought the question was about Galactic Assault, and I just feel like when you get to tier 3 on those, they jack the CG's just been lazy in the coding, and they jack up tenacity where you can't land negative effects on these tunes, and it forces you to mod swap to the point that I'm tired of creating all these mod setups just for whatever reason to beat whatever. So the one that you have to do with the Night Sisters or Phoenix against the Sith, when you get to tier section 4 on it, basically Sidious just wipes your squad in one hit, and I already have mod setups for doing territory battles when it comes to
He cut out.
Uh-oh.
I modded my setup to the point with cam shards that last time I had all the speeds and everything right, and I still got screwed. So I don't know, mod swapping and all that.
It's getting
GAC
old.
is very tedious. I'm not going to keep mod swapping all my teams just to, for the betterment of myself. I mean, I'm in it for the PvE aspects. PvP, if I'm doing well, I'm not going to drain the bank to get whatever tunes up to whatever speed just because I need it. At this point, I'm far enough along. If they would just get speed drops on these mods, it'd be a lot easier. So,
Howler, every time when you're done, you pass the feather to Leroy Jackal.
passing feather.
Leroy Jackal has joined us. You're up next. The question's, how's your GAC going?
I got smoked this last one. I went 1 and 3. I had some real nasty ones. I faced my first two. I faced my first two GLs. Normally I face one, and I do pretty well. I can counter those, but I did clear them, but it just took too many attempts, so I didn't win. Like you said, I don't even have a GL, so I have to get creative, and it just, like you said, move mods and pray. Pray RNG will let you win. But like you said, there's not much motivation unless you have just god tier tunes to go past tier 3, 4, 5. Unless there's something you really, really need. Just get the shards for the the characters they're giving out.
Yeah, I figure if I can't auto it, then I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. It's like so many other things. You got your territory battles that are very important you have to focus on, so
Yeah.
Leroy, I moved my seat, so after you talk each time you pass the feather to Beefed.
all right, that's really all I got. Like I said, hopefully this time I do a lot better. I cleared my first one and I got 3-0, and this last one I just got they hooked me up with some people that just they didn't whoop me, but my defenses didn't hold up as good as I would have liked.
For me, kind of the same. I played really well on my first battle this last set and won by just a couple points. And then on the second battle of the set, it was super close again, but he won by just a couple points. And on the third battle of the set, it looked like the strategy for me was to go north and take out his fleet. When I got there, I used my General Kenobi fleet, and everything was gravy, and I wiped out his best fleet. Then I went in to take out his second fleet with Admiral Akbar and my rebels, who were pretty good. But I realized at that moment I had Rey's Millennium Falcon because I put Han's Millennium Falcon on defense by mistake. And so I lost. I couldn't clear his fleet without Han's Millennium Falcon, the heart of the rebel fleet. So I just lost a heartbreaker there at the end on the third round because of this stupid mistake. But that's how my Grand Arena went. And the next person at the table is JD Suzuki.
You can just call me JD.
Okay. JD, you're up.
So the question is, how's my GA going?
Yep.
It's going all right, I guess. I won all my matches so far, but not super efficiently. So, yeah, I guess I'm doing okay. But had a fail on a Darth Revan squad, and then I had another fail on like a stupid Empire team that I should have one shot. But yeah, but doing okay, I guess. Pass it to Rickroll.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What are we doing? I got like Discord. Somebody was like, "Hey, go here," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
This is the weekly round table. We're just
Yeah.
we set up the table on the deck of a Star Destroyer tonight, and people are kind of trickling in as they evade security or make it otherwise to the location. But right now we got 7 people at the round table, and so everything nice you could think of for a Star Wars Thanksgiving, courtesy of the Empire, is here. And seated around us, we got 1 Draven, 2 Queen Avi, 3 Howler, 4 Leroy Jackal, 5 Beef Martine, that's me, 6 JD, 7 Rick Rawl. So we got a feather, a magic feather. When you have the feather, it's your turn to talk, so you can take us on a journey of your imagination, and or you could ask a question for the whole room. You can answer a question that's been asked. The question was just asked, how's your Grand Arena? And now the feather is yours.
Cool. This is awesome. Well, I don't really emotionally. We're looking at like the game is in a better place. I'll tell you what, though. I Uber drove CG Cyanides and like Top Hat and one of the other dogs that we know and love up in Sacramento, because that's where I live. And I'll tell you what, they are interested in us, like psychologically.
I bet.
Cyanides, like, first off, they gave me like a couple thousand crystals, like not a lot. It was like $20 worth of crystals, but that was the second time I like during the Darth Revan event when that first came around. I like rode my bike because I don't know what was going on over there, and I talked to somebody else, and he gave me another friends and family hookup of crystals. Not a lot. It's like $50 that time. It's not a big deal. It's not like it happens. Like it actually made me spend more that they gave me crystals. But I'll tell you, during this Uber trip, I'm driving these CG employees around. This is no bullshit. Like, you think I'm making it up? I'm not. First off, top hat, he's like tapped out. Like, he's like, what's it called when you're like, you ever work for a company so long, you're just like, what the, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Burnout.
Yeah, burnout.
Yeah, burnout. Thank you. Yeah, he's a little burnt out, but cyanides, like, he was like eyes wide. Oh, you play the game? Like, yeah, it's my payout right now. Like, I'm Ubering you guys, and like, you guys started talking about EA. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, the only outfit out here for EA is, CG. So I'm like, okay. They talk about a lot about like meetings. They go to like the way they were talking about it was like there were 8 meetings a day. So I kind of understand during the dark phase, like 2 years ago to a year ago, remember when everybody's hating CG for everything they were doing.
Yeah.
I kind of comprehended what was going on. They were in like constant meetings. It was almost like they were doing more meetings than work on the game. So and it makes some sense. But the newer employees, they love it. They're fucking into it. So I think we're seeing the result of those newer guys who got hired last year, like the shit that they were working on, and as it's dope. Like, we're all in a better place for it.
Well, some of it does definitely seem to be improved compared to what it was even a couple of years ago. So they still have some work to do on it, but
Like,
yeah,
what?
I figured some of those guys who've been around for quite a while just seem to be checked out.
That's a really interesting topic. I think that we should pass the feather around and talk about that.
Yeah.
Draven? Oh, Rick
It's
Roll.
always
Rick Roll, after you talk each time, give the feather to Draven.
Here's the feather.
all right. It's great to hear that people are interested in adding more to the game. It just please make sure when you do a major release, test before you release.
Oh, I don't know these guys. Oh, sorry, no, that's not my feather.
It's okay to have outbursts. We're pretty casual here. Draven, you got more on that?
Oh no! I thought Queen was gonna. She started laughing. But Queen, what do you think about? I love new content. I just hate when I play other games, and some of the games throw out new content, and it just constantly breaks the game.
Yeah, a lot of the games don't have beta testers or any of that sort to check out the game before they release whatever world, whatever content that they're going to do. And CG, things weren't quite so bad back in the day because we had game changers and we had beta testers. So, and that was a good way to be able to test the game. That only not with the game changers, but there was like probably at least a couple of hundred beta testers. And then once they got rid of the game changers, they kept the beta testers for a little while. But CG is not fond of the game changer program, nor were they fond of the beta tester program. So they did whatever they could to get rid of it, and they did. I was one of the beta testers. So it was just a cluster F. I won't say the whole word. It was just a big cluster when, you just never knew. And it just seemed like these guys were burned out. They didn't want to deal with it. They didn't want to deal with any criticism. If I was criticizing something, I try to do it in a professional way, but also come up with ideas to how to maybe correct it or make it, hey, this is maybe the direction it might need to go, or this is maybe what needs to be done, instead of just jumping down their throat and just criticizing and not being productive in being able to provide more information or a solution to the problem. So, but they just didn't want to deal with it anymore. So they don't have the people testing this that they did. So they release product, and it's just bugged up the wazoo because they don't have us, and we're the best testers. We're absolutely the best testers you could possibly imagine. So I'm passing it on to Howler, baby.
Yeah, with that, it's It's frustrating when you're at a job forever. I mean, how I've been at my job for almost 10 years now. So when you get burned out, you get burned out. You have to try to invigorate yourself to have life back at your job. And what I suggest to those guys that are burned out is that they need to find fun with their coworkers. Their coworkers will make it fun. But getting back on the topic of the game, you know, if they would just test it or stop making us guinea pigs, is basically the whole community becomes a beta tester at that point. And if they don't want the negative feedback, you know, they need to implement beta testers again or something, you know, to get that positive feedback, you know, because quite frankly, the entire Star Wars community as a whole is probably one of the most critical groups out there because they have such high expectations. But, you know, you can't make anything better if you're constantly getting negative feedback because, you know, you get burned out. You don't know what to do because you feel like whatever you're going to do is going to be wrong no matter what. So maybe they're to that point. So with all the positive adjustments that have been going on in the game, I've just been finding it more pleasurable to play than I did, say, 5-6 years ago when there was constant, you know, faults and bugs and everything. So I will say that it's a lot better than playing Destiny right now. I mean, Destiny is getting knocked back on a whole bunch of crap with bugs. So, you know, if there's one thing that needs to happen, beta testing amongst the gaming communities needs to happen in order to implement better releases on patches. I'm passing the feather.
Leroy is next.
Well, I agree with Queen. It's way more fun than it used to be. There about 18 months ago, I almost quit. So I definitely enjoy the direction they're going. Still have some room to grow. I wish it wouldn't just all speed most of the time. I guess it is coming to be more tenacity. There's other things you can do, like with JKL. That was kind of cool, base speed, you know. But anyways, I do like where they're going with it. Like you said, I think that the young people that have just joined is going to make it better. At least I hope so. I like to think that.
Well, one of the things I don't want people to feel like they have to spend a ton of money to get up where some of us are. That there's so many people that start the game and will remain at that not at that level, but will progress together. That they shouldn't feel like they have to be at the top of the top of the top in like 6 months. There's just no way to do that. I've had some people comment that the beginners are going to be discouraged because they can't be where we are. Well, the game is made to where you progress. You don't have to be at the top. You can progress with a bunch of other people in your level, and if you concentrate on that, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, it's almost like they need more low to mid-level content that's engaging and really fun to play. Because that's I think what we're hearing or what we're passing the feather about is the psychological rift between us, the gamer community, and the game designers. And part of that pain that we were feeling or friction a couple years ago is it sort of felt like they were torturing us or milking us by trying to pick the least useful characters and forcing us to use them for different things so that we would put gear on them and stuff like this. Basically torture tactics to try to wring another penny out of our udders. But anyway, that was then, and now I don't think it has that feeling. I think they've gotten back to a more of a good feeling at least. And so hopefully the distress level is a lot less there, because you're right, you can't do any kind of project management if you're constantly getting darts thrown at you. It makes it really hard to relax and do your job well. So I'm happy that relations have got to a slightly better place, but I love the idea of them jumping into an Uber and catching a driver who is, you know, sitting here at the round table with us. In a way, you touched a celebrity and brought their voices to the table tonight. And so reaching out to those execs, I mean, I would say they ought to be friends with us. They ought to come onto the chat because we can give them a guest pass and they can come talk to us because we're full of wild ideas. I mean, that stuff we just heard about, a territory war where some map sections are 3v3 and some map sections are 5v5, where the officers can choose where to put the fleets on the map rather than have it dictated always in the corner. That stuff is gold, and that would be pretty minor game adjustments. It would make quality of life so much more interesting to have if they could get some of these imaginative ideas and test it out. But maybe, like you were saying, they're locked in, just like those weak enemy guilds we talked about earlier, who did something and it worked, and now they're really scared to change the strategy even slightly because they got a certain amount of cash coming out of that cow, and they really, they don't want to try a new field, a new pasture, because it might affect the flavor of the milk. I see how that puts him into a burnout mode or a bad mood, but there's a path out of that, and it is new and interesting stuff. And really, the galactic challenges have been some of that. I like that. Yeah, I can just auto it. I probably will only win the first 5 tiers that way, but if I wanted to dive deeper, I can, and I feel like there's some meat there for the new player too. So that's been a good move. Can only look forward to the new stuff. I'm thankful for what they've got in the game now. Now we burned about 45 minutes of time already, but we're going to continue for at least another quarter of an hour. Things just got interesting here in the last half, which often happens. But that's all I got on that topic of psychological rift. I pass the feather to JD.
Yeah, I definitely like the direction they're taking with the game, and with all the new people coming in, it seems to be getting a lot better. So I'm liking that, and I like the new galactic challenges. I think will really help with the new players too, because that's a game mode for all levels, and depending on what they do with that, that could be pretty big for low level as well as high level players too. Yeah, so now that IG-11 is out, I was kind of wondering what you guys, if you guys have found like any teams for them, or if you guys are using them at all, especially with Queel and those guys.
Great question.
So yeah, Rick, if you've like tried them out or found any teams using this.
Yeah, no, I grabbed. I think my Queel's 5, my IG's only 2. I'm waiting till the 1st to see what I can do with the new thing. I got 7-star Relic 7 Mando and Grief and Kara like a year ago when they first came out, with the assumption that things were gonna go down, and nothing happened. So I'm a quarter thinking, okay, we might get the best Scar Mando. But with regard to like comps, I've been playing around with just Scoundrels, because I felt like Scoundrels were going to be one of those things that are going to eventually bear fruit. But so far I've been following like the Arnold videos about like what the guy can do. I think they're missing something. So there's no comps that are just OP yet that I can uniquely give you that I know of. And then again, I don't have them at 7-star. So without 7-star, you can't even test. So
yeah.
That was Rick. So after that, it goes to Draven.
Draven, what do you think of IG-11 and Queel?
I think they could be very interesting, but right now, till they're actually farmable, I put equipment on them and I put mods on them, but they're just basically on the back burner right now. I think IG-11 has great potential, but right now it's like 2 stars. It's worthless. Who's after me? That'd be Beef, right?
No, it's Albie.
That'll be me. Yeah, it's me. Here we go. Yeah, I've got Queel at 5 stars, and I've got IG-11 at 2 stars right now, waiting for the next galactic challenge to come up. that I can move them up another star, maybe get the pack, take them up to 4 stars, and then I'll figure out what to do after that. But I'm definitely going to be playing around with different team comps to find out what I can use them with. If I can use them with scoundrels, which I think with Akira lead, I think that would be really, really good, especially with maybe Zalbar and Mission would be good. And also, I've got an R5 Gamorrean Guard, and I think that will be fun to play with, because that Gamorrean Guard is very tanky and has a crap load of potency and stuff. So he adds a lot of good debuffs and stuff. So I think that'll be fun to play with. But I'm kind of excited about it, and plus we got at least some semblance of the child in the game. Anyway. Okay,
I mean, I
next,
just started working
Howler.
my Gamorrean guard also.
Oh, he's
Just as a
awesome.
funny.
He's not like super duper best tank in the game, but boy, he'll take some hits and he does assist.
He reminds me a lot of Sherry. He has a lot of meat. That's all he's getting, dots and meat.
Yeah, great for bacon. Howler.
Yeah.
Howler, feather passed on to you.
Great for bacon. No, both of mine are 3-star right now, low gear level, because I'm still trying to finish up one more galactic leader. So, and I don't have the Zetas right now anyways, because, legends drain your pile. And so, but picking up on the squad, I'm thinking Akira lead with Vandor Chewy possibly, and just beefing it up, because that whole heal effect right there. I mean, I think even Captain Han Solo might be able to come back on that squad, because resin and being able to res people, and IG-11 is pretty tanky. He's got the child healing him, so I think that we'll have another Mon Mothma squad that we might be able to start testing, and throwing squads like that in the TW is what throws people off. So, especially with the people that use the lower levels, because your high level people in TW usually have somebody that's real high level go after them. So, you're pulling the high level counters, but the lower level people in the guild can get more defenses. So I'm thinking that IG-11 is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Queel, I'm still not sure. I think he definitely needs to get put in the squad with IG-11. But I don't know, a whole bounty hunter squad, because I've seen how Mando is during that Galactic Challenge, and he's just pretty weak. So I don't think he's meant to be with those guys. So with that, I pass the feather.
Next up is Leroy.
I agree with Queen. I'm working on my Gucci Palp with the backpack. So kind of just starring Gamorrean Guard right now, and then I'll work on him as a side. But I do think he will be great on the Scoundrel team. This last 3 versus 3, what was surprisingly, that got 9 kills out of the 3 rounds was he at Krennic and Death Trooper. 3 I mean, every time they got 3 kills, it took three teams to kill him. I'm like, what the heck? That was just a joke.
Awesome.
Obviously, RNG plays them well, so I guess there's some synergy there. That was more of a joke than anything, because I just got Krennic to for 3 or 4 for that Palpatine event.
I think he needs to be Relic 5 or
I think it's just 3. I think it's just 3.
It's so confusing because there's so many of them at various levels. You forget who needs to get to what.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get my Gucci Palpatine. Trying to get people to pull my finger. Trying to make him my first GL, because I was already pretty well suited. With Thrawn and Palpatine and Anakin all at level 7, so I just went after him. We'll pass the feather to whoever is next.
All right, it's me, Beefed, and I would say with those new characters, for me, they're kind of the same as any new character, that I start to build them up a little bit, like level 50 or so. But until I can get more stars or have a definite path to get shards, I'm not going to invest heavily into raising their gear or abilities beyond a certain point until I can get more stars on them. But I've seen some useful 4-star characters, so if I at least had a node where I know I can farm those free to play, then I would actually start working on them because they got great kit. And that reminds me, that comment about Captain Han. Captain Han. You're absolutely onto something there. He's somebody who I'm, looking to relic one of these days anyway for that event. Because the closest thing that I am to a GL is Jedi Knight Luke. And so I'm going to keep pushing on that as we go into the holiday season in the new year. Don't know when the event's coming back, but I got about 5 more characters to go from Gear 9 to Relic, and they take
It's
a lot
coming
of...
soon, buddy.
I know. They take a lot of stun guns. Well, before I sign off, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and we'll probably pass it around one more time and call it a night. So, thanks for coming, and in closing, peace out. I hope you're having fun in the game. I have been lately. We had fun in the last territory war, and I'm looking forward to the new, Rancor raid, but we just kind of built a good community in our guild right now, and so we're staying 50-50, and people are pretty interactive and fun to talk to, so it's been really good. But the good part about the game sometimes is not exactly what CG is responsible for. It's more what we've done with it that makes it really fun. So anyway, thanks for being a part of that, everybody. Thanks for coming to the round table. Pass the feather around. We can go around again. Goes next to JD. Got any closing thoughts or something else you want to add?
It was fun roundtable, fun hanging out with you guys. Thanks for setting it up, Beef, and yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Rick Roll.
Yeah, the same. And God is real, and God loves you all, and I do too.
Thank you. How about Draven?
Hope everyone enjoys the holidays and have fun with your loved ones.
Passes to Queen
Oh,
Avi.
me next. Yes, happy holidays to everyone. Glad to be here this time around. At least I remembered this time. And thank you, Beef, for tagging me, because I would have forgotten all about it because I was right in the middle of some other, actually another dungeon I was doing on another game. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And I'll probably be talking to some of my family and friends through Zoom. So instead of going out to be with family. So I will say farewell and have a good one, everyone. Howler.
Yeah, I had to cancel my trip home this year, so 2020 really sucks, and we can all learn one thing. It's just, do the nice thing, because people want to go back to the normal life that we were all used to. So we're never going to get there unless we all come together as one. So hopefully people will start to realize that with the holidays coming around and not being able to see family. So with that, I say that I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. And if you are traveling, do your best to stay safe. It's not pleasant out there right now. So with that, I just pass the feather.
Leroy.
Yeah, I wish everyone a happy holidays off. I'm a traveler, and that's what I do for a living, so I'm all over the place. Like you said, if we do our part, we'll get out of this and be much better for it. I do like we got a vaccine coming out, so that is something to look forward to coming here at the end of 2020. We got several actually, so but yeah. All I gotta say is don't underestimate the power of the dark side, and I'll let y'all leave with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I mean, I guess that was right about 60 minutes. I'm going to stop the recording and then we can just stay on to chat a little bit informally as well. Thanks for coming, everyone. End of the round.